Witam Państwa z Poznania. Impact 2024, Bogusław Hrabota. A mam honor rozmawiać z panem Jorgiem-Michaelem Ruppem, Head of Roche Pharma International, szefem wielkiej firmy farmaceutycznej Roche na wiele krajów. Właściwie wszystkie kraje świata poza Japonią i Stanami Zjednoczonymi. Hello, how are you doing here?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me today.
I got a couple of good questions to you, I believe pretty important for the world future. And I will start with the heritage of pandemic COVID-19. What were the best important results of this pandemic and some challenges for you?
I think what we all learned in the pandemic that health is nothing guaranteed, and health challenges are very acute or can become very acute. And they're not isolated, they become very global. I think we learned this all in a very painful way, I have to say. But it also taught us the possibilities we have when we come together. And I think for me, the outstanding part in the pandemic was that governments, private industry, associations, we as individuals, we all came together and we're after the same solution. And it showed us how quickly and how resistantly and how resiliently we can resolve health questions if we want to. That was really the great learning for me.
But what was just an impact for individual company of Roche from the sense of view of, some scientific activities from the point of view of new medicines found, etc. Was it an important factor?
It absolutely was. As Roche, we are both, we have a field of diagnosis and we have a field of treatment. And so we were the company that was providing the first testing around the world. And that...
How many of them may measure?
Billions.
Billions.
Billions. If you remember how many patients got tested, how important tests was for us at the time. And so that was something we did in a very short period. First of all, to develop the test from a scientific base, but then also manufacture and distribute in all the countries around the world. That was a key challenge on the one side. But also we entered into collaboration to provide treatments for patients that are at very late stage or very severe disease in COVID in hospitals. So kind of, how do we do this quickly? How do we supply this quickly were major challenges.
Was Roche ready for it? Or you're under the pressure of time, like everybody in the planet? Because, pandemic came from nowhere, from China, but we had no idea about it before. And we were under the pressure of time. So especially you as medical company, you had a feeling of this pressure of time. Or you were ready before?
I think both. I have to say, if you look, and I'll take here maybe not Russia as an example, but the vaccination. The technology existed. Companies had invested in technology. We had invested in diagnosis. We had invested in treatment. Without those investments and the scientific understanding up front, we could not have scaled in such a quick way. Were we taken by surprise like everyone else? Yes. Did we come together and find solutions? Absolutely. So I would say it was both.
Do you think that such a pandemic can happen again?
I am convinced that healthcare challenges like pandemic, either viral or bacterial, can happen again. Absolutely.
Because there are some, visionaries of the world that say that another wave of pandemic will be much more difficult for humanity and much more killing people.
Difficult to judge of what's going to come, but I think based on learnings that we made as a society, we should think about preparedness for the next wave, because I think we learned we were not well prepared. We did not respond. Many things we had to find out. In many instances, it was almost flying a little bit blind. And what I mean specifically is if we think about how we exchange data, how we use data on testing, how we share amongst countries, I think there's a lot we can do to be much better prepared in the future.
Do you think that we can find a way how to help this excluded parts of humanity, like in Africa, etc.? You do anything to help them too?
I think we're working with all countries around the world, and we are in discussions, I think, with many stakeholders. it is clear that we together should make sure that we help all patients and all impacted societies around the world in the same way.
How you find the big challenges for medical industry next, let's say, 2 decades? Because the number of civilization diseases grows. So you have cancer, you have malaria, you have a number of important diseases. And I believe that you have in company such a list of main challenges. May you refer some of them?
I think what we can clearly see around the world is an aging population. We clearly see diseases like cancer, heart diseases, so not those that are transferred by a virus or infectious disease, but non-infectious disease. This is certainly coming up all around the world. And these are the big areas of interest where we as a company can make a difference. And I think one of the major themes in the future is what we call personalized healthcare. And that's kind of where we need to focus. Every patient is different. We need to find out what are those differences, put the patient in the center, and find solutions that work for patients in a better way.
But are these civilization diseases number one in a chain, in a list?
You have certainly cardiovascular disease remain as a major killer, and the next one is cancer. In the developed world, I think still, if we're speaking about many countries around the world, in low and middle income countries, they still have different health challenges. Let's be clear, there's a difference around the world.
About your company, Roche, how much money do you spend for R&D in your factories?
We as a company are one of the very big investors in health. We invest about 15 billion a year, 15 billion Swiss francs or dollars every year.
Every year
in R&D. We have a proud history over 100 years, or 127 years, as a privately owned company, contributing over the decades to innovation in the diagnostic side and as well as in the treatments. That's our passion and our mission of me. My colleagues here in Poland, the 1,200 people we have in Poland, but the 100,000 we have around the world.
Where are the major seats of these R&D groups in Europe or all over the world?
Usually there is a big base in Europe. We also do work here in Poland. There is a base in the US and there is a base in China. These are the big centers. But we do a lot of work with academic institutions and regulators in every single country around the world. So we do a lot of R&D work in many countries around the world.
Do you work with Polish universities?
Yes, we do. I'm very proud to say we have nice examples of partnership here with the university in Poznan around medical data science.
Do you find it progressive?
For me?
Do you find it progressive?
I find here Poland very dynamic. I'm very impressed with the progress in technology, but also with the increasing focus on health and health as an important contributor to future prosperity and to economic growth. I think I've seen signs of those discussions that people take a very different approach to health, which I personally think is required in the future.
A couple of days ago, I was in London just taking part in a Google event, conference, and they presented a company from London they acquired with the name of AlphaFold. It's working on sequences of proteins, just to find them, to understand them, and to describe them. Do you think that there's 200 millions of proteins in the world? So do you think it would be helpful just understanding the sequence of proteins for your, technological challenges?
Let me say, the science technology has taken such a fast development over the past 10 years that we have a much better understanding of disease, and including what you said, including genomics and data. These are fundamental to treat individual patients in a better way. So they're very important to us from an R&D perspective. I think they are important to develop the right medicines for the right patients and give them at the right time. That's what personalized medicine is.
And a bit secrets about Roche. what are your main R&D challenges that you face now, today, these days? May you reveal some of them?
Our R&D challenges are in where we see the gap for patients, where there's what we call unmet medical need.
Yeah.
That's where we go. Science, as you know, is something that is a discovery journey. That's not plannable. That's also why we
Surprising
invest
from time to time, yeah?
Yeah, surprising from time to time. It's in a way risky investment. That's why we as a company invest such substantial amount, because we believe, and that's our passion for many years. We want to make a difference to patients on the journey. We want to make a difference to societies by bringing better health.
How does it look, I mean, the presence of Roche in Poland in figures?
We employ 1,200 people in the country in different with highly specialized. Also many in the field of data science. And we're very proud of being part of the society and the collaborations we have here in the country.
Thank you very much. It was a nice conversation. I believe that we'll repeat one day. Maybe
Thank
here,
you
maybe
very
somewhere
much.
in
I
the world.
appreciate you having me today.
Thank you. Dziękujemy bardzo. Pan Jorg-Michael Rupp, jeden z szefów Roche'a, światowych szefów, takich najpoważniejszych. Bardzo dziękujemy za rozmowę i mam nadzieję, że do niej jeszcze kiedyś wrócimy.